My name's Matt Ellis, and I've been going to Cornerstone for about 20 years now. My parents started coming here when I was around 3 years old. Ever since then, my parents were really involved with the worship team as a kid. Most of my memories of my childhood are coming to church on the Thursday nights and coming to worship team rehearsal and sitting in the family viewing room at the old building and playing with my friends. When I was about 14, I started on the worship team myself, which was exciting. I started playing drums, and then from there, I just had this fire to learn everything that I could. Started playing guitar, served under Daniel, and he taught me a lot about sound and lights and media and all that. And now I'm running the production department here. Over the course of my life, there's been a lot of things that I've gone through and a lot of anxieties and traumas that I've been through that my go-to coping mechanism is just ignore it and forget about it and let it be. So there's large parts of my childhood that I've just stashed away and forgotten about. So this year I started working with Pastor Brenda. We started meeting a couple times a month to start working through some of those things and digging down into what my anxieties are, what my insecurities are, where do things root from, and just what's going on in my head. As Pastor Brenda and I were starting to dig down into all this stuff, digging up these memories that were just buried, one specific memory came up that answered a lot of questions that I'd been asking myself lately. Why do you still trust God? After everything, why serve in church so much? But this one moment that we dug up, it just made it all click. When I was a kid, I was born with a benign tumor in my cheek, right here wrapped around my facial nerve. When I was about 7 or 8 years old, that tumor had grown to be pretty big. So big that it was causing constant pain. So we started talking with doctors, and it was a very difficult situation because it was wrapped around my facial nerve. I had to have surgery. So I remember the week before the surgery was going to happen, we were going to worship team rehearsal as always, because even a surgery is not going to stop us from serving on Sunday. I think it was at the end of rehearsal, man, I can't talk about this without crying. I can write it, can't talk about it. They called me up onto the stage. The entire worship team just wrapped around me, and they put hands on me, and they prayed over me. In that moment, I felt safe. I felt peace. I felt community that I'd never really felt before. So even though I forgot about that moment for, the majority of my life, the crazy part is that that's not the only moment. There's so many moments. I picked that one because it really shows the family and the community that shaped me into who I am. In my family, that wasn't the only thing that was going crazy at that point. There was a lot of brokenness. Dad was angry all the time. My mom didn't help much with that. They were just about to be getting a divorce. My grandpa also had the same anger issues, just on a much larger scale. He was pulled away. We weren't allowed to see him. My great-grandma died not too long before that. It was a very hard time, but as an 8-year-old, I was feeling alone and isolated and like I couldn't rely on my own family. So when this happened, it really was feeling like a family that I didn't know. It was a moment that made Cornerstone my family, and it made God and Jesus not just my parents' faith, but my faith too. So of all the things my parents didn't get right as a kid, the crazy things that happened, no kid should have to go through, one of the things that they really, really got right was the pattern of serving. If they hadn't been so active in the church and they hadn't been a part of the worship team, that moment would have never happened. All of the things should have pushed me far from God. From the time that I was 3 years old and my parents were the ones serving, to the time when I was 14 and I started serving, that's never been something that I was willing to let go. I know that that's why I am here today, why I'm serving, why I still have faith in God. It's not because of who I am or there's good attributes about me. The people around me and the way that they showed God's love and His family to me over the years. In the moments when I didn't deserve it or I didn't feel like I wanted it, I owe everything that I am to the family that I've had. That's why I trust in God. That's why I am so attached to the production and worship departments, because I've seen the life change. And that's why I know for a fact that I can't be doing anything greater than what I'm doing in production right now. This is where God wants me to be for that very purpose. That's what I'm here for. I can't wait to be a part of it. The best time to plant a seed was 20 years ago, and I was lucky enough that my parents did. The next best time to plant the seed is today. Do it. Get involved. Be a part of something. Serve. Do it for your kids. Do it for yourself. Do it for the person that you don't even know who they are, but God's calling you to make an impact on their life. You're the only one who can do it.